I saw a tweet that said that somebody wanted to talk some shit,
Mm-hmm.
and the first person that answered that tweet was me. And here
You're
we
waiting,
are.
you know.
Yes, and
You
you
know.
can already hear from the voice. Not only do we have Craig Lagans here as always, HIAC Talk Radio, VOCNation.com. On your smartphone, in your podcast app, type in VOC Nation Radio. You'll find us. Some changes are coming around before the end of the year. Some big changes, so I'm told. But our guest, I've been wanting to get back on here for a long time. Some shit went down. There's going to be a lot. Here's your only warning. Okay, the Wrestling Historian podcast, we're going to try to keep with less curses. This one, I can't promise you. From here on out, there's going to be a lot of cussing from a bunch of people from South Jersey, Philly, originally.
I love that the Wrestling History podcast is the one that you don't want people to swear on.
No, it's not that I don't want them to. It's just that we do it less. You know? My point is
trying to get right with Jesus?
No, Jesus is not real. It doesn't exist. As Craig prays. But my point is this is your last fucking warning. We're going to be cursing a lot after this. Everybody, Lolo is here. Hello, Lolo.
Hello, Lolo.
Hello.
Hello, Lolo.
It's me. I made it. I made it. Shit talker extraordinaire.
I have to, well, you know what? Let's just see where this goes. I want to apologize to you here in the... What's up, Matt? How you doing? What's up, Dad? I want to apologize to you because we haven't spoken since a couple of months ago.
Dude, we text like at least once a week, my guy.
We text, but I have not spoken to you. I have not seen you.
Oh, I don't talk. I don't speak. I don't use my voice unless I'm being recorded. Otherwise, I'm silent. I'm a monk.
Fair
I do
enough.
not talk.
But I want to apologize that stuff went down the way it did, and there is nothing could be done with it. After the high, quite frankly, we all went on. Okay, I mean there was sex in the bathrooms. There was sex in the ring. There was wrestling.
Oh yeah.
There was
there was some wrestling, mostly sex.
There was some wrestling, but it was a good show. It was one of the best attended indie shows I've been to in a long time. It was Butch versus Gore, one of the first.
I would say it was definitely one of the first, but I'm gonna shoot my own horn here and say it was definitely the biggest and most relevant.
I'll give you that. It was the biggest, most relevant LGBTQ wrestling show put on, which coming up in a couple of weeks. But no, not even a couple of weeks. Next week. Oh boy, you folks have no idea what you're getting into when you order, and you will order. Paris is bumping. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm so excited. The final cut has been made, and I had the offer from my partner Billy Dixon to view it early, and I'm choosing not to. I am a.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm a man of the people.
Wow.
Humble. I want to watch it. I want to watch it among the, I don't know. I have no finality to the actual joke, no punchline. But yeah, no, I want to see it in real time. So I have no interest in watching it early. I just I'm conscientious of how shit went down, and it sounded like a lot of fun, and it sounded like a lot of drama in the best possible way. So yeah, you guys you're in for quite the treat. I'm excited we got that Thursday night spot to kick off Halloween weekend.
Oh God. There's gonna be some. If there wasn't a pandemic, man, I can't tell you. I can't.
Oh, I mean, this pre-pandemic, this event was going to be pretty big. But if there's anything that we walked out of Butch versus Gore knowing, it's that Billy and I are pretty good at this.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're all right at it. We're pretty good at this, and
you're real good at it.
This is stuff that can be replicated. Not easily, but it can be replicated. We can bring the same kind of shit to you online that we would at a live show. But yeah, I'm excited for live shows to come back. I would be full of it if I said that was not always at the forefront of my mind. But I'm not traveling. I'm not risking COVID for y'all. So we'll all just wait together.
I'm not risking COVID for any one of you motherfuckers. Not one of you. I love a lot of you, but nope. I mean,
I like my lung function.
part of me was like, I could I could ask to help stuff. And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm staying home. In the face of everybody that says it's a hoax thing. No, I'm not playing that game. Not a game I want to play.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Not worth it.
So
Game of Thrones and nobody wins.
So what's next? Because I know there's not a lot you could say, and I know there's a lot of feelings out there after primetime shut down. I'm just gonna say the debacle, the fucking clusterfuckery of the end of fucking primetime.
We can acknowledge it. There's no there's no dodging that truth. I'm not gonna like bury anybody because I think some people are pretty good at burying themselves. But yeah, yeah, no, continue. I what I'm saying here is I am not offended by anything you say. So
Okay,
feel
good.
free to.
All I needed to hear. So here's my point. There is a lot of bitterness and anger from me personally for the end of that.
Oh, I know.
More so things that they're part of it that I won't mention because I tried to help this person the best I could, considering what was going on, considering the situation, and I kind of got blown off. And that's to say that there's no closure is an understatement. I'm not going to tell anybody else's side of it, but I'm kind of done with wrestling after that. It's been so hard because it was in the middle of speaking out, which I'm going to rant on in a second since you're here. You'll hear me out.
I know. I got you.
You know how I'm going with it. In the midst of all of that stuff where everybody was just tired of shit and people were just coming out and saying, you know what, this person's garbage. This person's also garbage. I can't deal with it anymore, and I'm not hiding from this anymore. Such a blow after Butch versus Gore that I still don't watch modern wrestling. There's 100 other reasons that Craig and I go over every week where I nitpick WWE because it's a bit, just on a basic level, a bit hard for me to watch right now. But I cannot tell you the 5 text messages that I got, and thank you for the one warning. I don't know how many people you texted that day, but the one you texted me and you were like, listen. And it sucked the life out of me. It sucked the love out of me for wrestling.
Yeah, I guess for context, there's no use speaking in code here because I'm sure you've got plenty of listeners who are completely unaware. But no, I publicly outed my former, I can't really say business partner. I'm going to say boss because I think that's a much more accurate way to tell the story. I was being treated in a way that was emotionally harmful, in a way that was not appropriate. And I just couldn't I could not wake up every day and check my phone and wait for the next thing I was going to be in trouble for, Yeah. I cannot fuck with that. No, that was just not a way I was interested in living anymore. And that was something with the whole speaking out movement. We can kind of pan the camera back a little bit because there were so many people. I'm not going to talk about me specifically, but there was this tone of, well, why can't these things be dealt with in a more quiet manner? There's no way with abusers. There's no way to do that because there's this intrinsic need among people who have gone through an abusive situation where there's always a party that kind of wants to protect the abuser regardless, and I don't mean protect in terms of like, I'm going to lie for you sort of way, but yeah, it's the same idea of people keep coming back. People keep coming back. Why is she going back to him? Obviously not speaking about me in that context, but
yeah, sure.
Yeah, you've become so closely trauma bonded with somebody where you're like, well, fuck, I don't want to be the one to blow their life up, but you hit ahead. Eventually, it's not feasible to live like that anymore. And yeah, that's the long and short of it. I was just like, I can't fucking do this. So I essentially blew up my own company.
Oh man,
And, what a small price to pay, honestly. I think that the good news coming out of this is I'm not shitting when I say I have never been better.
I can't.
What happened at primetime was I had such an incredible work experience there in terms of really being able to hone my craft and what I can offer wrestling. And I was able to start perfecting some of those things. Like there were no missed opportunities here. I'm glad to have ever started the company. I wear the t-shirt. I still have the t-shirt. I wear it. I don't
I threw that sucker
I don't
out
get
the
emo about it.
I fucking washed
It's a nice t-shirt.
I washed my kitchen counters with it, and I got rid. I was done.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, okay, we're good. That's full of COVID. See you later.
So the thing I'm gonna say that I think is really important, not necessarily for you, but just kind of for everybody, because this always tends to happen, and it's always the promoter who's fucked up, right? I cannot wait until we get to a place as a scene where we stop associating wrestling promotions with just the promoter. Because you were behind the scenes. You saw all the work that went into that. That's not a one-person job. That was a whole team of people. So, no, I think, throw the T-shirt away if that's what helps you cope. But there's no I don't think that there should be any shame in the work that you did, that any of us did.
Not to take away, this is not about me. What happened is not about me. But just to shoot with you here, I had two feelings. Mm-hmm. And I'm just being honest. Please don't be offended by the first one. The first feeling I felt was, why didn't you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I didn't even tell my partner.
I know it blows me because I would have. Not only would have your partner gone after him, but I would have gone after him because I was there with him. And
the thing that keeps you that kept anything from moving along for such a long time was this, like, I didn't want to lose my company. And I knew that any confrontation, any standing my ground, any plea for improvement on my end was probably just going to make things more unpleasant, not just for me, but, just for everybody, because that's how that behavior tends to manifest. Yeah. But, there was so much I kept my mouth shut about because I thought, one, this is just the wrestling business. This is something, there's always the thing in my head where, there's also the thought process of like, there's people speaking out right now who have it so much worse, and that'll shut you up real fast too,
Yeah, I understand.
That'll keep you quiet.
Some people tried that when you said what you said.
Yeah, hey, I stayed with I worked this company for over a year, and I put everything into it. I put my whole heart into that, and there was a lot of stuff that I put up with. One, because I was afraid to talk, but two, just because this was my in with being able to do what I wanted to do with wrestling. And that there are not a lot of opportunities for people like me that pop up. So yeah, sometimes, I say I got the table scraps. I got pretty fucking good table scraps, right? I got the filet mignon of table scraps because we were lucky enough that it was an incredibly successful venture. This wasn't just I ran some, no shade to high school gym folks, but we had a huge brewery show. We sold out every show. It might sound callous, but I've got a pretty fucking good resume by this point. So
no, it's not good. First of all, my first response when somebody says I don't want to sound callous, it's fucking wrestling, okay? Sound callous. The first person that would be offended by your callousness would be callous to you the next day. Who gives a shit?
Oh my God.
I'm not wrong.
No. Nope.
I stopped caring. Yeah. I stopped trying to impress people about 2 years ago. If I didn't want to, I was like, I don't care anymore.
Good for you, man.
The second feeling I thought when this comes to the T-shirt was angry, and not angry for me. I don't give a shit. I'll find something else to do. I'll play more video games and eat more shitty food on the weekend. Whatever. But after Butch versus Gore, that is what I can't even. I still can't.
It was the highest high to the biggest bullshit.
It was the highest high to the lowest low. It really was. No pun intended. Low. Just
Right.
After that, I cannot, for those listening, I cannot overemphasize, and it'll come off as tooting the own horn. I don't give a shit. I cannot overemphasize the importance of that show, the importance of people I have met, the feelings I've had since then. Lo, you know.
Oh, yeah.
How important that show was to so many people. And then it's gone. It's gone,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a light at the end of the shit tunnel coming up someday
Always.
soon. So
Always.
I promise you guys to hold on.
You know, running Butch versus Gore, having people come up to me who, you know, everybody in this world has some sort of following, whether it's very large or very small in wrestling Twitter, right? Whether we like it or not, we're all playing the fucking influencer game. That's
Sure.
just what it is. Having folks come up to me after the show who are not hardcore wrestling fans, who are not on wrestling Twitter, and come up and talk about how, like, yeah, this was one of the very first spaces I've ever been in as an adult where I felt like I could actually be myself, because believe it or not, there sure are a lot of closeted wrestling fans, which I think should be fairly obvious. But that's something that nobody can take away. You know, that was really fucking magic there. And if that's something that can be replicated and made bigger, then I'm going to do it. And I think Butch versus Gore also showed me and Billy that we're a hell of a team. So why not keep working together?
Those shirts are great, though. The
oh my God, right?
Shirts.
my former look, I don't look anything like it anymore. Mayday did such a great rendering of me at the time, so it's just like, for me, it's such a fantastic, like, vintage look at myself.
I meant
many looks in wrestling.
That shirt is great too. I meant the newer one, just the word mark one.
Oh, I don't know that I've even seen it.
Yeah, it was on Instagram. I was like, I really like that one. I don't know why.
Oh, it might be the one where the front has the words and the back has the picture.
Oh, you see, I had the back.
Yeah, Billy does not fuck around. We got front and back. She's a fancy girl.
Harry in the chat says, Dan walked up to me once at a shoe, you mean show, stupid, and told me I was his hero. Wrestling shows really do help you connect. No, to be honest, I walked up to you at a show and I was probably sweating because it was 400 degrees in the building. And I said something about go fuck yourself or something because I hate you. Anyway, that's my buddy Harry. That's what we do. So the last thing I wanted to bring up, I want to go full in on this because I want you to tell me I'm wrong and I want you to agree. I want you to go off about this for real. The speaking out movement. Speaking out movement on wrestling. First of all, we're not cutting any. So we're not casting any doubt. Fully supported it. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm not talking about how the old way of wrestling used to be as far as trainee and the consensual way that old train. I'm not talking about old school wrestling. I'm talking about shitty people in modern day wrestling. Totally okay with that. I need your perspective on this because I see certain things get tweeted and certain people getting booked. No, you meant shoe. Congratulations, Harry. You're an idiot. I see certain people getting booked, and it makes me feel helpless, like it didn't matter. Certain people filing lawsuits that I can't go further in onto it about. Twitter will still enable. I feel that the same shitty people are being enabled, and I feel like it was pointless while people are still dealing with their trauma and dealing with actual issues that came out of being abused or being assaulted physically or otherwise, mentally, which is a thing. If you think that's not a thing, please get out of my room right now. You're an idiot. I don't know. I think the pandemic probably softened the blow a little bit. And that makes me depressed.
Absolutely. I mean, the pandemic kind of prevented us from doing anything in the first place anyway. So, you know, we became very numb to a lot of shit. So once speaking out rolled around, you know, I kind of took it day by day because I was seeing friends of mine who were hurt. I was seeing friends of mine being the ones who are doing the hurting. And yeah, and you know, there were so many people after that who were like, fuck it, I'm so done with wrestling, and I understand that. But you already know this, you know, you've been around, you know how shit works. But the amount of folks who are like, seem to be under the impression that if they move into another form of entertainment, a different scene entirely, that those problems disappear. But that shit's everywhere, you know? Like, it's everywhere. I know that wrestling attracts, it's big brawny boys fighting and sweating all over each other, and there's blood sometimes, and it's so cool. But you're going to find the same kind of shitty manipulation in that scene as you will in like a, I don't know, like an MFA in poetry at any college you go to. Like, it does not matter.
I've
this
seen
tone
it.
of shittiness exists literally everywhere. And I think with wrestling, since a lot of people use that as their escape, I think that's why it was such a shock. Not a shock in terms of, oh, I didn't know, but a shock in terms of just the mass, the amount of blows that would happen in one day. Yeah, I mean, you know comedy. Like, there are so many fucking problems in comedy.
I want
form of
that
entertainment
on
you go
record
to,
from
it's
Lolo, by
fucked.
the way. Everybody heard her say
Okay.
that. I heard Lolo say that, excuse me.
Stand-ups are the worst. Oh, my God.
Craig knows.
Fucking pervs.
Craig knows the drama
Fucking
in
pervs.
stand-up and comedy and entertainment, don't you, Craig?
Oh, my God.
I do indeed.
Pervert.
Yeah, but see, but you know what Craig has the advantage of being 50 and he has a longer fuse, but not to speak for Craig, but being a young black man who grew up in Philadelphia has a better bullshit meter and less of a tolerance than a white Italian shithead from South Jersey would. That he doesn't really. The stuff that doesn't bother Craig, it does bother me. Blows my mind. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I shouldn't be mad about that if Craig's not mad about that.
But the other thing is, Dan, because our friendship is so unique, when I see it and hear it, especially in the last 4 years on social media, about opinions that I may differ on, like which lives matter and which, that type of deal, or protests, or for racial equality, or athletes kneeling. And I hear, people that are friends of mine that have given me nothing but praise and have applauded my efforts on our favorite local radio show. But at the same time, if I was the one that got shot 7 times in the back, I would wonder if they would find a way to blame me, like they're blaming other people that look like me over that. And I see their rants, and my first instinct is like, Lolo, Dan is my can of mace, or that can spray. It's like, I'll get Dan on them, because he'll be a lot more upset about these guys than I am.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know you.
I've had the conversation, Dan. I gotta come clean. I've had a conversation with other people before where I was like, "Do you think if we really needed it, do you think Dan could kill a guy?"
well, and it right there, Lolo, because the first thing, Dan's Italian, so I know he knows somebody,
I cannot confirm. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh my God!
Stop feeding the ego, though. I do want to share something from Harry, which actually made me laugh, and I didn't want to laugh over a serious moment. Then we'll get right back to it, because I have a reply for you, Craig, on what you just said. Dan may not have invented sit-down comedy, but he certainly tries. All right, Harry, I'll give you that one. Craig, it occurred to me when you said that, and Lolo, this is also something I see in your interactions online sometimes. I've believe it or not, just to respond to what you both just said, believe it or not, there are times where I have sat back and folded my hands and watched. Just to see.
There were 4 times I did that. Okay, listen.
Yeah. There's been like 2 times I've done that.
All 7 times.
All 3.5. I would bow, but I don't want to. Harry, it was one joke. Calm down. No, there's been a couple times, and I will say this, since the pandemic's increased, because I give less of a shit what people say. Like, honestly, there's almost been a complete transition from where I was on social media in March 13th to now, where I'm just like, I don't care what a third party thinks about this thing anymore. I just don't care.
You have never cared, though. You've always been so good about just laying it the fuck out there.
Well,
I don't. I'm trying to imagine what you look like holding back, because I cannot imagine it.
I smoke never mind. I can't say that. I forgot.
Babe, you know, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and
Wrestling.
still, you know, I'm
Yeah.
always like, what kind? I'm gonna change. Yeah, I should get off that topic because
no. I don't give a shit. I've seen people, Craig, you first. I've seen people that have been friends with you because of Preston Steve for years.
Mm-hmm.
When you bring up Black Lives Matter, or you bring up the protests, or just not even the Black Lives Matter group, just sharing your experience as a black kid growing up in the city and going to a predominantly white, an all-white school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this. I can't say the words, but I remember watching this conversation. And he didn't say the N-word flat out, but he said a variation of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking, "You want to try that again, son?" And his reply was, "Saying it again, what's the problem?" And I said, "Hey, listen, you and I would like to have a little chat about this. You don't know Craig. You're just on the..." I'm like, "No, I know Craig personally. And you're crossing the line, and he's not going to say anything. I'm going to say something." And the next day he disappeared.
Yeah.
There has been time Lo's been dealing with as she builds her house and her couch next over the phone. There's been situations where I've sat there and like, you know what? Lolo is an adult, but I can't sit back and let this go when I know I have to look Lolo in the eyes next time I see them and say, "What? I don't care."
as if whenever I get into some shit online, the first thing I do, I open up your profile and I'm looking. I'm like, "Damn, better say something. You better say something. I'm not gonna be his friend again unless he gets really into this shit."
Okay. Harry, I'll reply to the juice box comment at the second half of the show. So stay up. I know you're tired, but stay on a little longer. So where do we go next with wrestling? I mean, to add what you're saying,
there's so much to be done. There's so much good stuff to be done. There's so much bad stuff that has happened that there are. Whoops! I just dropped my microphone.
She just threw us on the floor.
There are endless possibilities for how things can be better. That's I hate to be Pollyanna, but there is literally no way but up. We have bottomed out many times.
Have we bottomed out? I'm worried that not enough people I'm saying the word adhering to the speaking out thing, that we haven't bottomed out.
Well, no, I don't mean in terms of like the well. I mean things kept getting and sometimes keep getting worse and worse. Hitting a bottom, just being like, okay, things cannot possibly get any worse than this. And then guess what? They do.
I've been trying to, I set a date for myself, and this is more of a personal date. I have not watched wrestling other than YouTube clips we're going on 2 months now. As far as
I've been following a lot. If it's not live and I don't really care for a lot of wrestling during the pandemic. There's something missing for me. There's no crowd. There's no love. I don't care.
Absolutely. I can't even argue with that because I completely understand it. The thing is with me, and I was having the same conversation on the hockey podcast and Stadium Journey when people were saying, well, the sound doesn't sound the same and the announcing is, I'm like, I usually watch this stuff on mute unless there's a promo being cut anyway. Because I can't, when I'm watching wrestling, even if I'm going back to the WWE Network and watching, I'm on 1992 right now, going back chronologically, I'm doing 4 other things. I'm either editing a video, reading other articles, and watching at the same time. You'd be surprised. I concentrate more when I'm doing 3 other things, which was hard.
Yeah, because you have ADHD.
Yes. You know how hard it was to tell teachers in school, no, I am paying attention. I can't sit here and keep still. I'm listening to you, and if I knew how to articulate then, how to articulate now to my teachers, that I was picking up more by taking notes and doodling, and I wasn't bothering anybody else. I was just doing other things on my notebook while I was listening to them intently. Versus sitting there staring at them with my hands at my side, watching their mouth move and completely not paying attention to a word they said.
Like falling asleep. Yeah.
I can't do it.
No, I'm entirely with you.
So I'll watch that, and I don't listen until I see a microphone go up to a wrestler's mouth. I won't listen to the show. So for me, in that way, I have no argument or debate. So if it's missing something, it's the same for me. However, on the WWE alone, and I'm going to keep bitching about this until people agree with me. This is not MTV 1999, 2001. Hold your fucking camera still, you assholes. This is a
all right, Dan's on one. Here he goes.
This is supposedly $1 billion company. Craig, get in on this too, please. This is supposedly $1 billion fucking company that thinks that. Who thinks that looks good? My example, Lo. I think I told Craig this, but if not here, he's on the phone anyway. I watched. What was the last show? Not Hell in a Cell. Clash of Champions. And it was when Big Show came out to interrupt the Randy Orton match. And in the 2 minutes that I watched, I counted over 35 camera cuts and not one steady cam. That pisses me off. You're not Michael Bay. I have no interest in watching that product. But the point was, as I set a date, Lo, this Wednesday, Halloween Havoc, the first ever live show I ever went to when I was 6 years old is WCW Halloween Havoc. They're bringing it back. I will sit there and watch and see if I get back into weekly wrestling. The one caveat is I will never watch Impact. I was giving Impact a chance because Jordan Grace and their women's division is fantastic. There's a couple other wrestlers. Eric Young, I'm a mark for. But the fact that they still use the Daphne thing as footage and Sami Callihan has a job, I was like, well, I never need to watch that live. We're good.
Yeah.
I'll be bitter about that until the day I die, or until I meet him and punch him in the face,
or until the day he dies.
Oh my god!
Punching
would be cool. I would like to see punching.
I don't want to steal a line.
I should not encourage though.
No, don't do that. I don't want to steal a line from Jim Cucknet. But sorry, Craig. I just like that. I like that name. Listen, he admitted that he was having other people have sex with his wife. He wouldn't be offended by Cucknet. Not that I would care. My point is,
it's a technical term.
It is a very technical term.
It's a technical term.
Hey,
I'm kink friendly. Go for him, I guess.
I guess. Whatever. Whatever. Anyway,
that keeps him busy.
I'm not a badass by any stretch of the imagination, but I would risk getting my ass kicked to just punch that trash bag in the face so much. Just once. Just one time. And I'm leaving that in because I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I would say he's never going to hear it, but knowing his little squad of pick-me daddies.
Go ahead. And the one guy, and I have respect for the guy. I don't hate the person. The one guy, we got mentioned on another show once, mentioning Sammy, the Sammy deal. And they, in the same sentence where they brought it up, they immediately dismissed it because they liked his wrestling. And that's when I stopped caring.
Oh yeah, of course. Wrestling's what's important here.
Yeah, that's when I stopped caring. And that's why I'm worried about the speaking out movement not mattering. I mean, look at Joseph Meehan. It's Joey Ryan, by the way, Craig.
I know.
Okay. I love that. His Jesus, his secular name.
His government name.
I just like his government name. I always goes back to the Dennis Leary bit about finding Jesus and being, okay, sorry, I fucked up, and it's okay now. No. That's a question I want to ask you, Lo. I want you to be, I don't know to be honest. You're always honest.
Are you going to ask me if I believe in God?
No.
Oh.
Well, somebody's out there.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, somebody's out there.
Craig.
This is a raw, real show, okay? We don't fuck around here.
Is there
Uh-huh.
an acceptance to people that actually put the effort in to be better?
I am a very big believer in restorative justice. There are, oh man, I hope I don't get I don't get fucked for this. There's so much variation in ways that people can cause harm to each other. There's not a tier system, but there are people who are abusive. There are people who are bullies. There are people who are in a conflict with you and neither of you handled yourselves well at all. There are just so many layers to this that I don't think that I cannot look at speaking out and see it as this one big cohesive thing, because there was so much variation. There were allegations of everything from sexual assault to he had a wife and slept with me. Those are two different things.
Yes,
those are
very
different
much.
Things.
Absolutely.
And I'm not speaking to anything specifically in either of those, so don't get me wrong there. Yep. But just to kind of display the spectrum of what people were talking about. There was just a lot of variation. And yeah, I'm circling back to, I do believe in restorative justice. I think that in so many instances, if someone has caused harm in the community that you are participating in, and you say, fuck that person, they're out, they're cut off, I'm done forever, goodbye. They're more than likely just going to move to another group of people and start causing the exact same issues. So I'm a believer in restorative justice as a call for safety for our entire community. There are also, there are so many variations in terms of how perpetrators are handled based on their gender, based on their race, based on their sexuality. And there are instances where I'm just like, I don't know, you guys are going a lot harder against, we'll say, the black guy than the white guy in this situation. And that's really frustrating too. There's just a lot of a broad strokes made throughout this whole movement on in the Twitterverse, at least. I believe in accountability. I think accountability is a little bit more than just like, hey, I'm coming clean about this. I admitted this happened and I'm sorry. I think accountability is real work. I'll speak very vaguely here because this is not about anybody in the wrestling community, but when I cut off a really bad abusive relationship that I had grown up with, I laid out, these are the terms for which this is how you can be accountable. Can you provide me with evidence that you're going to therapy? Can you read this fucking book that might tell you how just fucked up you are? Like, accountability is not just admitting your wrongdoing, it's actually doing some stuff afterwards. And yeah, I think if you go through an accountability process that is victim-centered, if you're talking to the victim, to the survivor about what they what their vision of accountability is, and they want to have some sort of like vague communication by proxy with their abuser to try to make the scene a little bit better, then I think that we should give all the resources possible to those kinds of cases. But we both know that is not how the internet works. That is not how Twitter works. And I can't even critique it too much because there is so much rage and there's so much pain that is extremely valid and very legitimate. But yeah, there were plenty of instances in which I was like, I see a missed opportunity here for actual community healing. Because I think I always worry about casting people out. And again, I don't want to get twisted. I'm not talking about people who like committed
actual crime,
who are a danger. Exactly. The people who really genuinely seek out these kinds of actions as opposed to really bad judgment calls. And I'm never going to say anything's just a bad judgment call. Of course, there's so many layers to that. But yeah, there are people who are dangerous and who are predators, and there are people who are probably not actually that dangerous, but still caused harm and should still be held accountable for it. So that's a whole lot of words to say. Yeah, I absolutely do think that you can change, but that also comes with losing opportunities. I'm not saying if you're a wrestler and you did something and you went through this process with the person that you harmed and everybody feels a little bit better. I'm not saying disappear, delete your account, go dark, move to where the fuck ever, but maybe don't take bookings, maybe don't take opportunities, because think about someone you might have harmed who would have had an opportunity had you not caused them any kind of unnecessary trauma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. No, absolutely.
I think about those instances a lot where you have people in positions of power who maybe came on to someone who works under them. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, they exposed themselves, but like made a weird comment while they were drinking and, you know, I'd love to take you out on a date or something, made this person really feel really bad and really uncomfortable. Obviously that person in power should not go to jail or get beat up or anything, but he should not be in charge of things. He should not be running any, you know, he should, I say run the show, and I'm speaking very broadly there, not just wrestling. But yeah, you caused someone a lot of pain and a lot of anxiety because you were in a position of power over them that you abused. And now they're probably missing out. Not probably, they often are missing out on opportunities because of that. So yes, I think that you can change, but you also need to really be able to read the room and be like, am I necessary in this space as a worker? You know?
Interesting.
I'll be honest, the person I outed, sure, if I was running a show and he wanted to come to the show and be, you know, behave, there was no like shit going on, yeah, absolutely. Of course that's fine with me, because that's not to be like, oh, that's just the kind of person I am. But yeah, that's just kind of the person I am. But
that was going to be my next question. In the last couple of years, DC Metro Wrestling has had a great high and a great low follow right after it. Mm-hmm. Are those redeemable situations? I'm asking for me.
I think that there were opportunities in all cases that, because Lord knows we're not talking about one thing. My God, there's so much that has happened.
Nope.
There were a lot of missed opportunities for actual effort and actual accountability. And at the end of the day, it is up to the person who caused the harm in the first place to decide whether or not they want to do that. You know, it's up to them whether or not they decide to take not the olive branch, but the hand of help, because I don't think that there are a lot of situations in which a perpetrator is left completely hung out to dry, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I think that there were opportunities for redemption that have been squandered. And I don't know, ask me again in a year, we'll see how I feel. But as for right now, I'm not, you had your chance and you blew it, but I'm more like, you had your chance and you didn't take it. So there must be a reason for that.
On a personal level, I tried and I stayed in touch, and I honestly really thought I wasn't gonna. You can ask a question. Go ahead in the chat. Go for it. I'm monitoring 3 different chat rooms right now, so bear with me, guys.
Oh, nice.
We're multi-streaming on. I said multi-streaming. We're simulcasting on Twitter and on Facebook and on Twitch, just for the podcast. So I have 3 different chat rooms I'm looking at any time. I never thought that I would get the cold shoulder. And I found out that just another piece to a puzzle that was being played. So
people who are hurting hurt other people. And I know that's something that we heard a lot, probably from our parents or guardians growing up when we were getting picked on by somebody. You know, oh, the bully just hates himself, and that's why he's bullying you. And you know, as a kid, I was just like, no, fuck that. But now, as an adult, I can reflect and say, man, it's objectively sad that this kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
You know, and there's only so much you can do. It's not your job or anybody else's to be a people fixer.
Can you rephrase that question? I don't quite understand. I'll say this out loud. Maybe Lo will get it. Why can't someone else do it and learn from the mistakes that has happened instead of just kind of throwing it all away? Well, I think that's what
So nothing is being thrown away, actually. There is such a And Dan, I really am excited about all this because there have been so many great people that I've met and been able to really actually start the building blocks to collaborate with since leaving the company. Because now I have the freedom to do that. There are really great things happening at Fight Club, which is DC-based, Black-owned, super queer, queer-friendly, pro-trans, pro-queer, pro-everybody, like just really, really fucking solid, booking great matches, getting great people in. So there still is a scene. When it comes to Primetime Pro specifically, in DC, this shit is expensive. I would need, and I'm not exaggerating here, to comfortably be able to be like, I'm going to run a really good show from scratch. I'd need like 15 grand to start.
Yeah,
there's licensing.
Just as a basis, folks.
Exactly. And once you get going, it gets slightly cheaper from there. But no, these shows cost thousands of dollars, and you might think that gets made up in ticket sales, but
nope.
You're lucky if you break even.
Just to reference that other situation, I saw a lot of things being thrown on Twitter from other wrestlers, surprisingly, and promoters that say that, well, they should have just paid anyway. It's like, I had the money. You had the money where you were. Mm-hmm. Didn't have the money where we were.
There's also the question of, because I have had a lot of really, really wonderful people be like, hey, well, you know, why you and Billy just like found an entire whole company from scratch. There's a high barrier to entry with wrestling, and you know, we all know that the folks who tend to benefit from that barrier of entry tend to be male, tend to be white, tend to not necessarily be rich by any means, but you know, have the means to start out with, and
definitely not rich,
and very much heterosexual. So I don't know. There have been opportunities I've missed out on in terms of like making my way forward in the world as a queer person, where I have a lot of catching up to do. Not in terms of learning anything, but in terms of just like finding my fucking footing. And so yeah, that's my personal reason for not just being like, yeah, let's buy out the company and do the thing. But there is also a lot that I cannot talk about. That is all very, very good, very fun, very exciting news.
What is there to buy out?
A name, a ring.
Never mind.
Not a ring, but you know.
I'll ask you off air.
There's always fucking something. There's always fucking
can't
something.
be worth anything. Never mind. Never mind.
Don't get on a thing. It's just too fucking expensive. That's the long and short of it.
Yeah. I'm not getting on a thing. I was trying to. I agree with. Obviously, factually, I agree with you on the the expense thing, but I was on that one level. I was like, wait, what? Never mind. I'll ask it off air. Lo, it is time to. It's the final rundown. Anything you want to say before we get off the air? This is the time to do it. And if you've mentioned everything you wanted to, or if I forgot to bring anything up, please do.
No, I'm really excited for Paris is Bumping to premiere. It's something I'm in Chicago. I was not present for the filming, which was a bummer since I'm assisting Billy in production. But I think it is going to take a lot of the momentum that we built with Butch versus Gore. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. We can't go to live shows. We can't have the giant party that we had before. But we're going to give you something pretty fucking good.
Oh, I
can't even say it's a consolation prize. This would be something that I think would be enjoyable and fun and exciting, even if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic. It's just I mean, the brain of Billy Dixon is something I will always be slightly envious of, and always very happy that I work so closely near.
I've purposely have told those involved I don't want to know. I sponsored, and that's all. I was like, I don't care. I just want to see the show. I don't want to know anything ahead of time. I want to be completely surprised. And so I'm going.
It's going to be great. And in terms of future news, I know we've done the tiniest bit of teasing, but it's a Marvel movie. There's a post-credits scene. So when the show's over on Thursday, Don't turn off IWTV. Just keep watching. Just see what happens.
Oh my
Just see what
God.
happens.
Oh my God.
I know. Just see. Just see.
With that being said, where can people follow you on Twitter or all social media? Let me rephrase that. Where do you want people to follow you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Bud Light, spelt like Bud Light, Lime, spelt like lime. Bud Light Lime, Core, spelt like the word core. Bud Light Lime Core. It's a way of living.
It's absolutely one of my favorite screen names.
It's so fucking stupid. And my like super secret account, it's not even secret. It's just the one that I have like 10 people following me on that I used to like fucking post a selfie before I bring it to the mainstream. Is Budweiser gay? And I think I might just move. I think I might just like move that over to the Bud Light Lime Core brand when the time is right. Because I cannot believe I was able to get that username, that nobody had taken Budweiser gay.
Because I think everyone took Schlitz gay first. Thanks to,
my God.
Thanks to Chris Farley.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
what a
fucking good. Such a beautiful man.
What a reference. What a reference. Lolo, I'm honored and very thankful that you came on the show, and I will definitely, it's not going to be that first week after Paris is bumping because we have a special 500th episode. 500 episodes since 2012, and I have not lost all my hair yet, which is what I'm going for.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it's coming. But,
you're a warrior.
I think the week after that, I'm definitely going to reach out to you and Billy and get you guys back on because, well, I don't think I'll be able to contain myself after the post-credit scene, as they say.
I know. There's so much good shit to talk about. So much. I'm very happy. I don't give things away, but I think that we have an opportunity now to do what we really just wanted to do from the start, and nobody's in our way.